Our school, Michael Nagar Shikhaniketan, government-sponsored co-ed English medium higher secondary, has taken an excellent initiative in conducting online classes through YouTube channel. Even in this pandemic situation, our school did not step aback in providing and enhancing knowledge to the students. So, it's a request to the viewers, please like, comment and subscribe.
We are going to start with the President of India. So, the Constitution provides for a parliamentary form of government based on British Westminster model. So, what is a parliamentary form of government? A parliamentary form of government is a government where the President is the constitutional head of the state. He is the head of the Union Executive, that is the head of the Union, which consists of the President, the Vice President, the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers and the Attorney General. So, all the executive actions of the Government of India are formally taken in the name of the President. The 42nd Amendment Act has made it obligatory for the President of India to accept the advice of the Council of Ministers. The President is the first citizen of India. Therefore, according to Article 52, there must be a President of India, and according to Article 74(1), a Prime Minister with the Council of Ministers should be there to help and advise the President, and the executive power of the Union is also vested in the President. So, first then I will start with the qualifications which are required to be the President of India. Like, what are the qualifications required to be the President of India? That is Article it comes under Article 58. Qualifications like is he should be a citizen of India. He or she should have completed 35 years of age, and he or she should be qualified to be a member of Lok Sabha. He or she should not hold any office of profit under the union government, the state government, any public or any kind of local authority. Next, I will come to the very important part which comprises of the election of the President. So, how is the President elected? It comes under Article 53, 54 and Article election of the President comes under Article 54 and 55. So, the election of the President is rather complicated because he is elected like the President of USA. That is, the President of India is indirectly elected by an electoral college. The President of India is indirectly elected by an electoral college consisting of the elected members of both the houses of the parliament. Both the houses of the parliament, by both the houses of the parliament I want to say is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then elected members of the state legislative assemblies and the elected members of the legislative assembly of 2 union territories. What are those union territories? Delhi and Puducherry. Next, and also the President is elected in accordance with a system of proportional representation by means of single transferable vote, and the voting is done through secret ballot. So what is the value of a vote of an MLA? The value of a vote of an MLA is the total number of population divided by the total number of elected members of the state legislative assembly. Suppose there is an MLA from the state of Uttar Pradesh. So, and it holds highest value, like a vote of an MLA from the state of Uttar Pradesh holds highest value than a vote of an MLA from the state of Sikkim, because Uttar Pradesh has a large population. It's a hugely highly populated state, but Sikkim is compared to Uttar Pradesh, Sikkim is a very small state. Next, we will come to the oath and affirmation. What is oath and affirmation? It comes under Article 60. Oath and affirmation comes under Article 60. So, before joining a position, the President, being the head of the Republic like India, he has to take certain oaths. So, the President is subscribed to an oath administered to him by whom? Administered to him by the Chief Justice of India, and in absence of the Chief Justice of India, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. So, the President administers an oath by the Chief Justice of India, and in absence of the Chief Justice of India, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court. So, what does the President do? The President swears that he will defend, preserve and protect the Constitution. The President also devotes his entire service to the well-being of the people. Next we will come to vacancy in President's office. Vacancy, which comes under Article 62. So when the office of the President will remain vacant, there are certain conditions. That is on his resignation. That is when a President resigns. Second, on his death, and when his third is when his election is declared void. Fourth will be like by the end of tenure of 5 years. Therefore, under Article 71, all disputes which are arising, disputes means disagreements, conflicts, all disputes which are arising out of the all disputes which are arising out of the election of the President and Vice President are mainly sorted, or you can we can say settled by the Supreme Court, whose decision is final. The Supreme Court's decision is final. It's mandatory and binding on all. Next we will come to term of President's office. What is the term of President's office? The term of President's office comes under Article 56. So, the President is elected for a term of 5 years. The President is elected for a term of 5 years, and if he resigns, then he has to write a letter under his hand addressed to the Vice President. The President is also eligible for re-election to the office of the President for a number of times, and that comes under Article 57. Next means we will come to executive powers of the President. The executive powers of the President comes under Article 53 and 74. So, what is the executive powers of the President? So, the President appoints the Prime Minister, and on the advice of the Prime Minister, the President appoints the Chief Judges of the Supreme Court, the High Court, the Auditor General, the Comptroller General, the members of the Union Public Service Commission, the Finance Commission, and he directly administers the working of the Union Territory through the Lieutenant Governor, the Commissioner or the Administrator. Next we will come to the legislative powers of the President. What are the legislative powers of the President? The legislative powers of the President comes under Article 108, 111 and 123. So, first of all, we will start with the President has the power to summon or prorogue the sessions of the Parliament. The President can dissolve the Lok Sabha, and the President also arranges for a joint sitting of both the houses of the Parliament under Article 108. So, the President also addresses the first session of the Parliament after the general elections. So, the President appoints members to preside over the meetings of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The most important is the President appoints 14 members to the Parliament, 12 members to the Rajya Sabha and 2 members to the Lok Sabha from the Anglo-Indian community. The President also promulgates ordinances under Article 123 when one or the other house is not in session. So, the President also lays the budget, lays budget to the CAG General, the UPSC, Finance Commission, and the President also addresses both the houses jointly or separately. Now when a bill is passed by the Parliament, the bill is sent to the President for his approval. So, a bill becomes an act only when the President agrees to that, means when the President gives his approval. So, therefore, a bill becomes an act only when a President will give his approval, and if it is not a money bill, then the President may send that bill back to the Parliament for reconsideration. This can also happen. Now, another important power which is associated with it is the veto power. What is veto power? It is coming under Article 111. Veto power is a Latin word which means that I forbid. It is a constitutional right to reject a decision by a lawmaking body. President has no power to object to any kind of constitutional amendment. The 24th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1971 has made it obligatory to the President to say no to any kind of constitutional amendment. So next we will come to the financial powers of the President. What are the financial powers of the President? First of all, like the President, a money bill or a non-financial, like a financial bill is introduced in the Parliament only with the prior consent of the President. Then he also lays the Union budget, that is the annual financial statement. The President also appoints a finance commission to recommend distribution of revenues between the centre and the state after every 5 years. Next we will come to the judicial powers of the President. What are the judicial powers of the President? The judicial powers of the President is coming under Article 143. That is, under Article 143, the President has the power to ask the advice of the Supreme Court, seek the advice of the Supreme Court. But the decision which has been given by the Supreme Court is not binding on the President. This is the a judicial power of the President. Next we will come to the pardoning power of the President. Pardoning means complete forgiveness. It means, pardoning means the power to say no, that no punishment will be given. So President is the only constitutional authority. President is the only constitutional authority which has the power to say that or to pardon death sentence. The governor also has the power, but the governor has the power to reduce the death sentence, but the governor doesn't have the power to change the death sentence. This is the difference. Next we will come to diplomatic power of the President. What is the diplomatic power of the President? All bilateral agreements, treaties, protocols are either signed by the President or signed on behalf of the President in his absence. Everything is signed either or. Suppose an ambassador is coming to India, or so the President receives him. This is also a duty of the President. Next we will come to the military powers of the President. So President is the supreme commander of the defense forces of India. President has the power to declare war or to conclude peace with any kind of nations, but the nuclear command of the country is under the control of the Prime Minister. Then we will come to the emergency powers of the President. So emergency powers of the President comes under 3 articles. One is Article 352, one is Article 356, and the other is Article 360. So I am going to write it down. One is Article 352, one is Article 356, and other is Article 360. Now, what is the importance of these 3 articles? First of all, I will talk about Article 352. What is the meaning of Article 352? It means a national emergency. What is national emergency? National emergency is happening in a country when there is any kind of war, when there is any kind of external aggression, when there is any kind of civil war or any kind of armed rebellion which is taking place within the country. The President can declare emergency only when he receives a written recommendation from the Cabinet, and if it is approved within 1 month, then it has to be approved within 1 month, then it will continue for a period of 6 months. So far only 3 times national emergency has been imposed. I think in 1962 when there was the Indo-China war, there was national emergency. Then 1971 when there was India-Pakistan war, and then 1975 where on the grounds of internal disturbances national emergency was declared in the country. Now during the period of national emergency, all the fundamental rights remain suspended except Article 20 and Article 21. Article 20 which means that protection in respect of conviction for offences, that is when excessive punishment is given to an accused, which means when excessive punishment is given to an accused, whether it is a citizen, a foreigner or a legal person. And then is Article 21, which means like protection of life and personal liberty. These two rights will never remain suspended even during national emergency, that is Article 20 and Article 21. Next we will come to state emergency. State emergency means when there is a failure, constitutional failure in the state, like there is a state failure of constitutional machinery, when there is a failure of state machinery in the state, and it is coming under Article 356. So what is happening under Article 356? In under Article 356, constitutional machinery, that is failure of constitutional machinery, that is state emergency is taking place, and it takes and it has to be approved within 2 months. It has to be approved within 2 months, and if it is approved within 2 months, it can continue for a period of 6 months. State emergency can also be extended for a period of 3 years and with approval of the parliament every 6 months. So what is happening during state emergency? The state governor carries on the state administration along with the advisors appointed by the president. And last is financial emergency, which is Article 360. Financial emergency, it is approved by both the houses of the parliament, and so far financial emergency has not been declared in our country. Lastly, we will come to do we know that the president can also be impeached? There are provisions in the constitution which can also lead to impeachment of the president, and impeachment of the president comes under Article 61. So first of all, impeaching means a president will only be impeached if he is violating or breaking the rules of the constitution, and the impeachment process can be initiated in either house of the parliament. It can be initiated in Lok Sabha, as well as the impeachment process can also be initiated in the Rajya Sabha. Now, the impeachment process has to be signed by 1/4 of the members of a particular house of the house. Then a 14 days notice will be given to the president. Now, when the impeachment process is signed by 2/3 majority of one house, then it is sent to the other house for its approval. So, and if the other house when the impeachment motion is sent to the other house for approval, the other house will investigate the charges, and if the charges are found to be genuine, then the president starts impeached if that particular house also passes the impeachment motion by 2/3 majority. But so far no president of our country has been impeached. Lastly, I will say that the first president of our country was Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and he served our country for the longest tenure, that is of 12 years. And so the president, he is the head of our union, he is the head of the union executive, and a very important part of the constitution, a very important part of our republic. So lastly, I come to the end of the video, so please go through this chapter. Thank you.
Subscribe. Click on the bell. Like, comment, share.